to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and today we're going to be looking at the puzzle on the screen, which is called Submarine Sandwiches by Nordy, and which Nordy seems to be exploring ever more creative ways for putting smaller and smaller amounts of information in the grid. Literally all we get today is some green lines that sort of overlap with the boundary. I've read the rules actually, they're quite interesting today. It's a sandwich Sudoku variant, so I haven't done a sandwich on the channel for a while, at least not within my memory, as Maverick flies past. Maverick's been very persistent this morning, so I'm sorry, there might be a bit of aeroplane noise as he buzzes past this flight tower over and over again. You'll have to forgive me for that, there's not a lot I can do about it. But let me start with some birthday announcements. Firstly, a 40th birthday, no less, to Alistair Squires. Congratulations on reaching that fine old age, Alistair. Now, your wife, Hayley, told us it was your birthday today, and she instructed me that you really don't like cake as much as you like sticky toffee pudding and apple crumble. So I hope you have lots of those, of course, rather than the chocolate cake, which would be ubiquitous in my house. Other than that, I need to say it well. Very happy birthday as well. A 32nd birthday to Valentina Milanese. Your friend Andreas told us it was your birthday today, Valentina, and I think you're both living in Belgium, Belgium, not Belgian, and Valentina, you're Italian, of course, by origin, and you met 6 years ago volunteering, and you spent a lot of the pandemic solving puzzles together over Zoom, which sounds like quite a cool way to get through those dim and dark months. That my brain, I don't know if your brains are the same, it seems to have sort of confined COVID into a period of darkness in my memory, even though I have actually just had COVID, although I'm testing negative again now, so that is a very good thing. Now, the next thing I need to do is to offer some congratulations of a different sort. Lots and lots of you have been solving Joseph Nehme's Sudoku Hunt. This is the Equal Sum Lines Patreon reward for July that we only released a couple of days ago. We released it at 4 o'clock. On July the 1st, and loads of you have managed to get through all the puzzles, which is terrific, and the feedback we've been getting in the emails has been just a delight to read. So well done to Joseph, frankly, on creating such a popular hunt, and well done to the following for managing to successfully complete it. Philip Bloomer, yes, you did solve it correctly, Philip, but you were by no means the first, I'm afraid. And you were about 12th, if I'm being honest. To Alaric Taki Arancha, Roger Phillips. Now, Roger Phillips, that is a name for all of the puzzle aficionados out there. Roger is, of course, the listener crossword editor at the moment, and an absolutely brilliant puzzle solver. So it's no surprise, to be honest, that Roger managed to solve Joseph's puzzles. But well done, Roger. To Nathan Cook, I think that is. Although my writing is a bit bad there. I think I have written Cook. I hope I have, Nathan. If I haven't, I'll correct that tomorrow. Jeff Frank, to John Gemmell, to Andrew Spicer, to Daryl Gilbert, Dennis Ocken, Casey Bell, Marcin Juracek. Oh, I've probably said that wrong. I'm so sorry if I have. Joe Chang, Chris Batty, Maya Freiberg, could be Freiberg I'm going to go with. Mia, could be Mia Freiberg. Mia Maya, I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. Christopher Johnson and Fabian Volman. All of you correct. Very well done indeed. Now, and that's all the news. I'm hoping to have some news very soon about Domino Sudoku, our new app, but it's not quite ready. I think it's literally days away though. Anyway, let's get on with the rules of Nordy's Submarine Sandwiches, and I'll read them to you. I think this is meant to be approachable today, by the way. We've had this recommended loads since it's come out. It's been recommended about a dozen times as being a brilliant video. It might be a brilliant video. It's recommended as being a brilliant puzzle. But these are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. I.e. within the 9x9 grid, place the digits 1 to 9 in every row, column and 3x3 box. Yes, okay, so because we've got an outside perimeter today, we're only playing Sudoku in the middle bit. Hopefully that's self-evidently obvious, but for those of you who are unsure, we're just playing Sudoku in that bit. Now, what's the next bit? Each of the 10 cells outside the 9 by 9 grid, so that's these, I think that's the cells that overlap with green. Let's just count them. That is indeed 10 cells. Right, each of the 10 cells outside the 9 by 9 grid must contain a digit from 1 to 9 inclusive. The outer digits can be repeated as necessary. I see. So what that's saying is that there's no sort of Sudoku constraint. If this was a 1, it's absolutely fine for this to be 1 because these are not subject to Sudoku. Each outer digit gives the sum of the digits sandwiched between the 1 and 9 in its corresponding row or column. So imagine this cell was 7. What that would be telling us is that in this column, we have to locate the 1 and the 9 somewhere. Let's say the 1 was here and the 9 was here. Then this cell would have to be a 7 because we have to sandwich between the 1 and the 9 cells summing to 7. Now, if we put the 9 slightly further away and put it here, then these two cells have to sum up to 7. And in fact, given it's a sandwich, what we can't do, for those of you wondering, is we cannot make 3 cells sum to 7 in a sandwich because they would have to be the digits 1, 2 and 4 in 3 cells, and of course 1, 2 and 4 do add to 7, but you've definitely repeated the 1 in the column if you do that, and you'll get the puzzle wrong. Don't get the puzzle wrong, it will be disappointing for you. Now that's the sandwich rules. Now, adjacent digits along a green line must have a difference of at least 5. So we've got German whispers going on with the green lines. So that means if this cell was a 1, this cell has to be at least equal to 6, because it's got to be at least 5 away from 1. If this was a 7, this has to be a 2 or a 1, because it has to be at least 5 away from 7, and we can't go higher. We will reach double-digit numbers, and that would be bad. That's all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I can get a digit here very quickly, actually, and that's using one of the 2 secrets I know about German whispers, which are the green lines. So the 2 things to know about German whispers are, firstly, you can never have a 5 on them. And that's because if you try and put a 5 on them, the next digit becomes impossible because it's either got to be 10 or greater, or 0 or negative, and they don't work. So, where am I going to put 5 in row 1? The answer must be there. That's the only cell that's not on a whisper line. Now, the other thing to think about with German whispers, which might be interesting with this long line especially, is the second part of the secret, and that is that they oscillate. We call it the oscillating polarity principle, which is a slightly pretentious way of describing what's going on. But basically, because you can't put 5 on a whispers line, you can categorize each digit on the whispers line as either below 5 or above 5. And the thing is, if this number, for example, is below 5, what is the next number on the line? Well, it has to flip the other side of 5. It has to oscillate, because even if this is a 1, because this is 5 different from 1 at least, it must be 6 or more. So this would have to be 6, 7, 8, 9, and then of course the next digit goes back down again. So there's oscillation along the green lines. Now, that looks interesting, because although we don't know which are the high digits and which are the low digits along this green line, we can certainly say, let's just make those purple for a moment, that these 4 digits, therefore, are a collection of either 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 6, 7, 8, 9, because they have to be the same polarity. They're either all high or all low. Let's label the others with a different colour. What should we make those? Yellow. I meant to use blue for cold digits. Blue for low numbers, because that's associated with cold, apparently, Mark tells me. And I meant to use orange for hot numbers, high numbers. But because I don't know yet what these are, I'm going to use the particularly offensive and clashing purple and yellow. Right, so this digit is the final yellow digit, isn't it? And in fact, we can do better than that. because this must be the fourth yellow digit in the row, but we know something about this yellow digit's nature. And that's because, look at these three cells. So I suppose this is almost the third secret of whispers. And that is that there is always a difficulty placing 4s and 6s on whisper lines. And that's because they are the only digits that only have one valid neighbour. So if we were to try and put 4 or 6 into this cell, the problem we have is that although we can fill in one of these two cells with 9, we can't fill both of them with 9. So actually a 4 can never go in these three cells. And neither can 6, because if we try and put 6 in, we'll have to put 1 on both sides, and we'll get a problem with Sudoku. So that means that these three yellow cells cannot be those extreme digits. And that means this cell must be an extreme digit. Now we still don't know what it is, but we know it's, well, when I say extreme digit, I'm thinking of 4s and 6s. Or maybe I should be talking about 1s and 9s, but I'm thinking of 4s and 6s. But once this is 4 or 6, this is 1 or 9, because it's got to be 5 away from 4 or 5 away from 6. Right, and the purples then are either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. And the purple extreme digit, the purple 6 or 4, is in one either here or here, isn't it? Because again, because we can't put 4 or 6 into these cells. Whichever one of the whether if purple is low, we've got to think about where the 4 goes. If purple is high, we've got to think about where the 6 goes. So one of these has to be the extreme digit, which means that you're either going to have 9s in these positions or 1s in these positions, and that's beautiful because that tells us the nature of purple. Let me show you what I mean. Let's imagine that purple is high. If purple is high, I have to put a 6 in one of these two cells, and I can't for a simple reason, which is if I make this 6, I have to put double 1 to surround it. But this is saying that 1 is a valid sandwich clue, and 1 is never a valid sandwich clue. Because think about what that means. If we put 1 and 9 down here, what's this digit got to be? It's got to be a 1 to be in the sandwich, but that means we're definitely going to have 2 1s in the column. So that tells us that in fact purple is low. So purples are 1, 2, 3 and 4. We know the 4 is in one of these. We know that now we've got 9s in either this one and this one, or this one and this one. This is now a 6 by Sudoku, which means this is a 1 by Sudoku. And now, right, so now I'm meant to, I think, address my colouring. My purples now need to be low numbers. My yellows need to be high numbers. And probably what we should do is actually put the options in. Let's do that. So we've got 7, 8, 9 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a low number. Which, well, that means that can't be a 1 for the reasons we've just explained. And look, we've got a 1 here. Right. So let's think about, I can put 9 here, I think. And that's because this is a very low sandwich clue. Now, normally you could say a 4 total could be made with a 1, 3 pair. But of course we can't put a 1, 3 pair and a 1 and a 9 in the column. That will give 2 1s. So that tells us that this sandwich clue, for it must be the sandwich, we can't put the sandwich above it because we can't put the 9 above it, must be simply 2, 3 or 4 here, leading on to a 9. And these digits are the same number. That's not a 1 I'm seeing because of this 1 here. So this is 2, 3 or 4. So this can't be 6. And I can colour this whisper line as well. Those 3 have all got to be high digits and these 2 have got to be low. So this is a low digit. So that's 2, 3 or 4. Which again I can do exactly the same thing. Where does the 9 go in this row then? Because this has to be a single digit total, this has to be 2, 3 or 4, and that has to be 9, which means neither of these is 9, which gives me a 7, 8 pair in the row and a 9 here. It's very cute. Right, so now, because this can't be 9, this can't be 4. So the 4 in blue must go here, along with a 9 above it. And this is now 2 or 3, but that can go with 7, 8 or 9. This can't be a 3 anymore, because 3 would have to be flanked by an 8, 9 pair, so that's got to be 1 or 2. That one I think can be anything. So one of these is a 4, which means one of these is a 4, and the 4 will have to go, yeah, okay, this can't be a 4, because if that's a 4 it has to go next to 9 on its whisper, and that 9 is going to clash by Sudoku once it, because this 9 is definitely in the grid, so that can't be 4, which means that this can't be 4, because that's the sandwich equivalent of that. That gives me a 2, 3 pair, a 4 here, a 4 here, that makes this a 9. Now don't do Sudoku on this cell, that would be incorrect. And okay, so now I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in box 1 there. That can't be 9. This square is orange, so it's high, but it's not affected by Sudoku, so I mustn't look at the 6 and the 9. That can be anything. 6. Oh, it can't be 6. It can't be 6 because it would need to be next to 1 on the whisper. So this is 7, 8 or 9, and it is summing this. This is lovely. Right. Yeah. Well, now we can say this can't be 1, because if this was 1, our sandwich total would have to be a 0 here, and it's not. So that means the 1 in this row has to go there, I think. And now we're adding... beautiful. Okay, so what is the absolute minimum of these two whisper digits? It would be 7 plus 2. Well, that's 9, but we can't make this greater than 9. So this is 9 as well. This is 7, this is 2, this is 3, this is 8, and this is 2. And... oh, I keep wanting to do Sudoku. I keep looking at this 9. It's very unlike me. I keep looking at that and trying to eliminate 9 from here, but I mustn't do that. That's silly. So this is 2 now, because it's just the same as that digit. So the sort of the weird Sudoku has impacted on this. But that doesn't mean we know what this is. 7 and 8 are both 5 different, or more than 5 different from 2. This digit? Oh dear. No, it's fine. It's actually fine. It's fine. What's this digit? That is an interesting question in the context of where 9 goes in this column, because this is defining the sandwich from this digit to wherever the 9 goes. But look, the 9 can go no nearer than this, which means the minimum we could put into these cells is 2 plus 3 plus 4. And 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9, which is the maximum I can put here. So again, it's forced. This must be 9. This must be 2, 3, 4. This is not 2 by Sudoku. This is not 4 by Sudoku. And so now there's a 9 in one of those two cells I'm seeing. Okay, now can we do, we've got a 1 in one of these. Probably the 1s and the 9s are where we should focus. Let me just think about this for a second or two. What else? Or is it Sudoku? Is it some sort of weird... oh, there's a 4 in one of those two cells by Sudoku. And which clues have I actually done then? I've done this one. I've done this one. I've done this one. I haven't done this. Maybe right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to label the clues I've done. I've done these 3, so I will give these a yellow flash. Yellow means finished. this is definitely not done. And, well, that could be a 9 though, so I don't quite know where the sandwich lives in this column. This is all but done. I'm going to give this a yellow because I've effectively, I know the sandwich is 2, 3, 4 and I've labelled it and I've got the 1s and the 9s, so that seems fair enough. This 9 is not done and looks very undoable. And then I've got these other lines, so somehow we have to break into these other lines. Oh yes, yeah, okay, lovely, lovely. So what's that cell? And the answer is not 1, 2, 3 or 4. So that has to be a high digit, which means this is a high digit. And this is a high digit. So these are all low. Now, so in theory, these are 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now this can't be 1 or 4. This can be anything. Oh, and that can be anything. Oh, this can't be 4. It would be flanked by double 9. And this can't be 4 for a different reason. It could be flanked by double 9, except there's a 9 there already. So now we're down to a 1, 2, 3 triple in row 7. Well, sort of row 7. Row 7 in the Sudoku. Okay. Right, so let's check the high digits as well. So let's put all the options in and then see what we can get rid of. We can get rid of 6 from here, because that's going to cause double 1 problems. That can't be 9 by Sudoku. That can't be 9 by Sudoku, or indeed 7. So this is 6 or 8. 7 or 8. And this can't be 6 because it would have the double 1 problem. But it can seem to be 7, 8 or 9. So, okay. I can see there's a 9 by Sudoku in one of those two cells. That is... Oh, surely that can't be a 1. Ah, yeah, here we go. Right. If this is a 1, that's implying there is a 4-cell sandwich in column 4, which would have to add up to at least 14, because 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is the minimum we could put into it. And 14 is not a valid entry here. So that is not the 1, which means in this sequence, this is the 1. Now we don't have a sandwich clue for this, but we do for that. But we don't know what this is. So, a quite interesting look. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Let's just pause for a moment and think about this. I think this has to be high. Where is the 9 in this row? That's the question I want to just ask. Now, it could be here. That's fine. It can't be here, it would be too far away. This could never be a single digit total. So it could be here. That's one possibility. But if the 9 is here, the minimum sum of these two cells is 7 plus 2, so this would be a 9. Now, if it's on the right hand side of the 1, on the other hand, it can't be here because we can't put 0 on the whisper line. And it can't be here by Sudoku. So it would have to be a 2-cell sum. But that 2-cell sum has a minimum value of we can't put 1, 2 or 3 into it, so it would be a 4-5 pair, which means this is always 9. We don't know which way the sandwich goes. It could still be either of these cells could be a 9, I think, but we know that whatever happens, the sandwich total is forced to be 9, because the minimum that way is 9, minimum this way is 9. Now if that's now orange, this is clever, isn't it? It really is clever. Just remember, this is just done with lines, no digits again. It's a bit like that one by J. Dyer I did the other day that was just literally one line. Now, this digit now has to be 6, 7 or 8. Can't be 9 by Sudoku. If this was 6, this would be double 1. And that doesn't work. That's going to be a sandwich total, which is a 1. So this is now 7 or 8, which means this is... No, that's 1, 2 or 3. This is not 1, so this is 2, 3. It can't be 4 because this would have to be 9. So this is 2 or 3. a very low sandwich total. That's huge. This row is interesting. Let me just finish what this can be. That can be 4, can't it? So it's 2, 3, or 4. But let's look at this, because we know the 9 is in one of these 2 cells. Now, if the 9 was here, where would the sandwich be? Now, it cannot be left, because it would have to include the 6 or the 8, and that's bigger than 2 or 3. So the sandwich here is somewhere in these 3 cells. Well, it's got to be this cell then, because if we make this somehow in the sandwich, this is in the sandwich too, and if we try and make that in the sandwich, that's clearly nonsense. So that must be a 1-9 pair, with this cell being a 2 or a 3 as the sandwich, which feels like it might matter, doesn't it? Let me think about this. So, now maybe we use this one. Maverick flying past for about the 8th time. Oh, that reminds me, I think Alistair and Hayley, Alistair whose birthday it is today, they live in Surrey as well, and they are not afflicted by Maverick, so they clearly live nowhere near me. So hang on. This is a 9, so how could this now be a 1? If this is a 1, this is the 9, and this we should have a 7 or an 8 here, but we have a 9, so this is not a 1. But, oh I see, but this could be the 1. This could be 1 here, this could be 9, and these would add up to 9 if they were 2 plus 7. The other option is that this is the 1 or the 9. Well, this is the 1 or the 9, and the other digit is here. The sort of the sandwich crust is here, so this is 1 or 9. Which again is perhaps possible. Okay, so I'm not sure I can do that. So the only sandwich clue I've not thought about is this one. Which is... oh, actually, hang on. Yeah, okay, so where's the 1 in this column? That might be a sensible question. It can't be here. It could be... it's got to be in one of... oh, no, it could... yes, okay, it's got to be in one of these 2 cells. Because it can't be here, actually. Because if it was here, this would be a 3-cell sum, which would be a minimum of 2, 3, 4, but that's going to break this cell. And if it was bigger than 2, 3, 4, it would add up to more than 9, and therefore this would be broken. So the 1 in this column is in one of those 2 cells. Which I don't think that does very much, actually. And in fact, I've just noticed I could have got that by Sudoku, couldn't I? Look, the 1s are all looking into this box, forcing this. So there's nothing clever about what I've just done at all. Right, okay, so maybe we can... so if this is a high digit, then it can't be 8 or 9. It would have to be 6 or 7. It couldn't be 6 because this would be a 1 and you can't have a 1 sandwich. So if this is high, this has to be 7 and that has to be 2. So this would be 2 and this would be 1. And that, unfortunately, I'm going to say that even looks likely because it would disambiguate this rather nicely. Okay, so that's possible. Now, what about if this is a low digit? Then it's got to be 2, 3, or 4. And this would be high, so it would be 7, 8, or 9. And that's putting much less pressure on these digits. Right, so this is not, I think, where I meant to look next. There must be something more we can glean from the other parts of the grid. So which clues have I not used? I've not used this one. But I don't seem to know anything about where 1 goes or 9 in this column. 9 is not, but 9 could be in either of these or down here. This one, this is the one where we don't know which of these two cells is the other crust of the sandwich. So sorry about this. I'm now that digit. Look, that can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's at least a 5. Does that matter somehow? 5, 6, 7, or 8. Or no, it's not 9. That would make the sandwich too small. So this is 5, 6, 7, or 8. I'm just wondering if that puts pressure if the sandwich comes downwards, but I don't think it does. If this couldn't be 5 then, but if it was 6, this could be 3. And if this goes upwards, oh wow, okay, that doesn't work. Right, this is interesting. Good grief. Okay, this is never 7, or certainly it's not 7 in the sandwich. No, in fact it's just never 7. Good, this is weird. Okay, this cannot be 7. Because if it's 7, what do we have to put on the whisper lines? Well, we can't put 3 anymore, that's only 4 away, so you have to put 2. But now that's telling us the sandwich digit here is a 2. So I get repeated 2s in box 6. So that's nonsense. But that's very strange. So that means this is always 8. Which means this... Oh, I see. Ah, this has done it. This has done it. Because now I can't make the sandwich cut vertical. Because if this is the 1, this is adding up to at least 10. So we have to be going down. This has to be the 1 or the 9. We are summing these two cells to make 9. Therefore, this cell is 4, 3, or 2. And it's not 4 by Sudoku. So this is not 4. This is not 5. Now I can see I've got a 2, 3 pair in this column. I need these digits to be different now so that this can be different. So this is not 1 anymore. And wow, somehow, some way this is... Well, I do feel this has made a bit of progress, but it hasn't... Oh, now I see what it's done. Oh, this is very clever. Very clever, Nordy. Love it. Right, now I come to this one. Because now how do I make this sandwich total work? Now, it could go left, and this could be the 9. But if it goes right, it must be a 2-cell sandwich, because if we put the 9 here, the only way of making the sandwich work is to have double 9. So, this cell, not being able to be 1 or a 9, forces the direction of this sandwich to be here. And now, we've got a high and a low digit, which must be 7 and 2. There we go. Therefore, this is 3. This is 6 by Sudoku. We know these two digits added up to 9, so that's 3 by Sudoku. Therefore, this is 2. Therefore, this is 3, and this is 3. This, interestingly, this being 3 means this can't be 3, because this is defining the sandwich in this row, which now cannot be a 3. So that cell gets restricted to 2 or 4. And we can probably... Can we do more than that? Maybe. Well, what we can do is we can yellowify this. We've done that clue. So, oh, we haven't done this one. Ah. Okay, so this is a 9 sandwich from this digit, so it can't go down. So it must go... The 1 can only go in one position in this column. It's beautiful. It's got to go there, which places the 1 here. These two digits now are adding up to 9 and must be 4 and 5 because they can't be 1, 2 or 3. We'll have 1, 2 and 3 involved. This cell is not 9. Ah, I see. So that gets me the 9 in box 1. How many 9s have we got in the grid? Loads. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but not all of them. Oh, how annoying. Okay, so we can't quite do the 9s yet. What about 1s? Can we do those? No, I don't think so. There's a 1 down here. Right. Okay, so how do we make progress? Well, we've yellowified this, which is great. So we need 6, 7 and 8 in this column to finish it. We have, oh, this is done because that's corresponding to this. This is done because the 2, 7 is the sandwich there. And this is not done, and this is not done. This is... Wow, I don't think... I hope I'm not going to have to study this row in some detail because it doesn't look very appetizing. And this one... so this is now a 2-cell sandwich. Okay. Yeah, this is a 2-cell sandwich, so this cannot be a low digit. Because if it is 2, 3 or 4, that's a 1-cell sandwich, so this is high. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's not 1 or 2. So we're now in 3 and 4 land here, which impacts back here. This can't be 6 or 7 anymore. It's got to be 5 away. So we're now in the world of... Right, lovely. This is not 8. And it's not 8 for a lovely reason. If this is 8, what's this digit? Well, it has to be 3. And now there is no way to make a 2-cell sandwich work because it can't be 1, 7, it can't be 2, 6, and it can't be 3, 5. So that's 9. This is these 2 digits adding up to 9, not using 1, 8, not using 2, 7. So we're either in 3, 6 land or 4, 5 land, depending on what this is, in fact. This can't be 4, so that can't be 5. Okay. 3. Now is it just Sudoku? It might be, you know. Well, we've got this 2, 4 to play with, and this 9 to play with. Apart from that, I think everything's done. So we ought to be able to make a bit more progress now with Sudoku, I think. 4, 5 and 8 into this row. So that's 4 or 8 only. This is 4, 5 or 8. Okay, so I think it is going to be something about this row. Oh, actually, no, maybe column 5. I've got more. I know more than I think I do about this. 5s, 6s, and 8s into these cells. 5, 6s, and 8s. Although that's really not very good. 3 has to be in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. Okay. I'm confused now. This column needs 3s, 4s, 5, 6s and 7. Oh, 7. So this is a 7 by Sudoku. So this cell is 3, 4, 5 or 6. 7 in this row has been now filled, which is actually not doing very much. Okay. Grasping at straws now, but 4 in this box is in one of those cells, and 4 in this box is in one of those cells. So that means that the 2 4s that we know exist in this row and this row are somewhere in those cells. So we can't have another 4 here, or it would be a third 4 in these 2 rows of the puzzle. So that's a 5, and that's a 4. And that means 5 is up here, look. Which places 5 in this cell by Sudoku. There we go. Right, so now we've got a 6, 8 pair here, which is removing 6 from there. Is it doing more than that? It must. Oh, that can't be 3. Look, there's a 3 here. So this is now 4 or 5. Oh, that's beautiful. That's quite beautiful. Okay, so if this is 4 or 5, how does this work? This cannot be a 4-5 pair anymore, because it would break this cell. So this must be a 3-6 pair, which means this cell here is a 4, this is a 5, and okay, I'm sure that does something useful. That's not 2, look, by Sudoku. Ah, so 2 in this column is now here. Has that done some magic for us? Yes, places 2 by Sudoku here. So this box is getting a bit more replete, isn't it? 3s, 4s, 6s and 8s into that cell. 3, 4, 6, 8. Can we get this 3, 6 resolved somehow? Don't know. Have I done... Oh, I haven't done that cell on the Whisper. Oh, that can be 7 or 8. It's next to 2 and 1, so that's not under pressure. This cell is next to 1, again, not under pressure. So what we instead need to do then is... I don't know. I don't know. What am I missing here? Okay, I think we've got to carry on with Sudoku for a bit longer. And I really want to know how these 1s and 9s are getting rid of... Oh, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be this one, isn't it? There's going to be something about this row that's clearer than I'm... Yes, it's this. That can't be 1. Because if that's a 1, this cell here has to be 9. And this has to be 2 or 4. Because it's a 1-cell sandwich. And that, therefore, is the way we get the 1s and 9s disambiguated. There we go. So therefore that's 9, this is 1, therefore this is 9, look. So what's this digit? That's got to be known, that's got to be a, what is it? A 3. So that's not a 3. Has this done it? How many? We've got all the 9s in the puzzle, and we've got lots of 1s, but not all of them. Yes, but what we can do now is we can ask where the 1 goes in relation to this sandwich. And it's got to go here because it can't go to the left. So that's 1, that's 1, that gives us a 3, which gives us a 4. I see, and now it's all flowing. Ah, so it was simply, we just had to have the right thought about row 8. And therefore this is 2 or 4, and it can't be 2. So that's 4, that's 4. This is a 5-8 pair, so this is a 4 over on this side. These two squares now have got to be 2 and 7, and we know where the 2 goes, so 2 and 7 go in. Now in this row, look, we should know what that digit is. It's not a 6. Don't say that, it's a 5. It's a 5. Okay. I'm looking for the easy wins. Let's have a look up there. This has got to be a 5-7 pair. Oh, how weird. That's not done. Okay, this has got to be a 6-8 pair. Oh, okay, that does do some stuff. That gets me an 8 and a 5 in this column, which gets me a 5 here. So now in this column I also need 4 and 7. Yep, you've guessed it. It's not resolved, but that cell is now known. That cell's got to be a 6. Okay. Oh, this 6, I hadn't noticed, has done some work in the middle box. That's getting me these digits. Yeah, okay, so it's starting to go now. I think it's starting to crack. That's 8. That's 3. That 8 does the 8 and the 7 at the top, which means we get the 7 and the 5. We get the 8 and the 6. We've got to put a 6 in this box, and that digit's got to be a 5 by Sudoku. That column looks like it's working. Goodness only knows what the checker's going to make of this. I don't know if Sven's software is going to understand what's going on. This is a 7. That's a 6, so that's a 6, that's a 2. This 8 means this is 6, this is 6, this is 8, this is 7. And we're just left with 2 and 8 into those cells. Which does actually look right, because that seems to work from a Sudoku perspective. Right, let's see if it works. Tick. It doesn't look right. It definitely does not look right. It doesn't like that at all. Let's yellowify this. And let's heat that digit up. And probably all we can do now is take a quick stare at this and see whether it looks right. And when I edit the puzzle, I'll have to check, and I'll do quite some auditing on it. And if it looks wrong, I'm afraid you'll never see the video, which would be a great shame because it's a clever puzzle. Or I might ask Mark to have a go at it instead, because it certainly deserves an audience. It looks right though. I think it's right. Very, very cute puzzle, isn't it? So you can basically do this Sudoku just using some green lines. And the bit I thought was really clever was this cell. And thinking about whether that cell could be 7. And that causing the sort of the repeated digit in box 6. That was very smart. And yeah, it was quite smooth apart from that. It's very clever the way, just with lines and the length and forcing the sort of polarity, you can actually disambiguate all the digits. So it's another lovely puzzle by Nordy. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.